Time for an AMA update. So if you don't know, Qubic is one of the like the sickest projects ever. The like as far as how they communicate with their followers and their holders, just constant communication. The X is always lit, great updates, and they have Ask Me live AMAs like every couple of weeks with the core like team, like, and it's pretty awesome. So let's start out with this post, which is pretty amazing. So Neuraxon, which is a model being developed for the Qubic network by two AI brain scientists, right? I think one's like a neurobiologist. Either way, they're brain people who know a lot about brains and AI. Neuraxon scored, so they're building this Neuraxon model. And guess what? They outscored Grok, a multi-billion-dollar frontier model on ARC AGI3, literally the toughest benchmark in AI that exists right now. Qubic scored 0.18 versus Grok's zero point 0.1. Whoops, almost double the score. Whoopsie. With what? A fraction of the funding. Whoopsie. And guess what? They only used CPUs and no LLMs. Just a couple of neurons that they coded. Whoops. That's Qubic. I hope okay. Um I thought I was disconnecting for a second. Your boy's traumatized. All right, two researchers. The two researchers, let me who are Jose Sanchez and David Vivancos. Make sure you guys go check them out. No massive pre-training, no billion-dollar compute budget. Just a biologically inspired architecture beating frontier models stuck below 1% on the benchmark. Ooh, so yeah, here's a little synopsis of the updates here that we have. So Anna hit 0. I know this seems like a weird thing to say, but we'll explain that in a second. Outsource computing passed end-to-end testing. If you don't know, outsourced computing is the final third pillar that Qubic has been building. What was the first two? It was like the Oracle machines. Oh, what was the first one? Oh, I feel so goofy. I was just reading it too. Oh, it'll pop up. It'll pop up in my head. Dang it. I should have known that at the top of my head. TypeScript SDK, which is huge. Fiat ramp and card payment um partnerships and final contract review. Yeah, man. Business development is getting lit. Oh, I hope I'm not talking too far from the microphone. Sorry, sometimes I lean back. All right, so let's check out the all hands. Dun, 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 dun. So check this out right here. The Qubic scientific team Neuraxon takes on ARC AGI3. Am I sharing the tab? Yeah, we're good. The headline: Qubic's Neuraxon architecture is competing on ARC AGI3. If you guys don't know what ARC AGI3 is, it is it here. Let me. I can show you better than I can tell you. Bum, 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 bum. So actually, you know what? Let me put this in the description of this live stream. Actually, so check this out. So here's what ARC AGI3. There's a whole history of it, but I don't want to bore you guys with the history of it. I'll put the link in the description. There's also a link in the description of this live stream to another live stream that I did that describes the whole ARC AGI, what it is, and the history. So yeah, there's you can learn all about that. So check it out. It introduces what researchers describe as tasks requiring multi-level abstraction. The model has to reason about the transformation rule itself, not just apply it. Think of it as the difference between following a recipe and understanding why a recipe works so you can adapt it when ingredients are missing. Yeah, that's ouch. That's way different. Excuse me. So the tasks in ARC AGI3 are constructed so that the surface level pattern matching offers essentially no advantage. The benchmark is specifically designed to measure something closer to fluid intelligence, the capacity to solve genuinely novel problems through reasoning alone. All right, so here's a good follow-up question. Fluid intelligence actually means in AI. Fluid intelligence is a psychological concept that describes the ability to reason about new problems without relying on prior knowledge or experience. It's distinct from crystallized intelligence, which refers to knowledge and skills accumulated over time. So I guess a version of crystallized intelligence is like once you pre-train a model, that's like crystallized. Like it can't. There's not much you can do with it. Anyway, let's go back to ARC AGI3. BBD bump bump. So now we're playing the ARC AGI3 game. We're competing with the top frontier models. All right, think of it as a puzzle game with no instructions. The AI agent enters an environment, sees shapes and colors, has to figure out the goal entirely through trial and observation. Yeah, it's pretty difficult. I tried I tried it live one night. It was really late on a live stream, and I was just like, "Oh god, I can't what?" I turned it off. I want to try it again actually. Maybe we'll try it on this live stream later. Humans solve these puzzles reliably. Every major AI model at launch scored below 1%. The benchmark was designed this way. It strips away the advantages that large language models rely on, from massive training data to parallel solution generation, and tests whether a system can actually learn something new in real time. For the technical paper, see ARC Prize Foundation's publication. All right, so over 6 days and 7 Kaggle submissions, the Qubic scientific team iterated configurations daily. So they're able to submit their thing once a day. So they started out with a point, I think their first score was a 0.13, and their latest score was a 0.18. So for comparison, Grok scored 0.1, Claude 0.2, ChatGPT 0.2 and Claude 0.22. This is outdated, by the way. So I'm gonna show you there is some new stuff. ChatGPT went pretty hard. Not gonna lie. These figures come from different evaluation tracks, so direct rankings carry caveats. Yeah, so it's not all set in stone. We'll know the final numbers at the end of the competition. The team will continue daily submissions through September 13th. Damn, they have a lot of days to go. That's pretty awesome. Oh, and they have a new conference that they're going to in Japan. If you guys missed, some last content, yeah, look up IEEE and Qubic. Like what the scientific team is doing at the conferences that they're attending is pretty serious. These aren't small fry conferences that they're showing up to. These are serious AI machine learning conferences, and they're bringing some novel stuff. At the last conference they went to, they literally won like talk of the night. Like their paper was so novel and awesome. They won talk of the night among other AI scientists, right? Not crypto, fanboys. Right. The scientific team on Qubic is getting real peer reviewed respect in the scientific community. If you know the first thing about, how the body of science moves, that's a pretty huge deal. All right, core updates. Ooh, this was kind of a super kind of complicated, but it's pretty interesting. All right. Anna, a tiny native program around 150 kilobytes with no internet access and no tricks reached zero on its tasks. Now you're just like, what? Reach zero? What are you talking? What you talking about, Willis? It holds a small trinary network in memory and trains it on deliberately simple tasks, adding two numbers. In plain terms, the method the team has been developing was given a test problem and it solved it completely. The problem confirms the approach converges cleanly, and the broader Qubic AI research builds from the foundation. Um, to mark the achievement, the community voted to pause mining for one epoch. Ooh, the Qubic network kept running normally. Oh, this is one very interesting thing that they mentioned in the AMA. Joe Tom explained it pretty brilliantly, but like no other chain can do this. Like shut off the miners and the the network can still process like transactions and validate the network. without skipping a beat. Like there's a way that I think there's gonna be there's more technical things to describe about that, but yeah, this is the only network that can do something like this. So let's continue that. So the Qubic network kept running normally. Transactions processed, smart contracts executed, validators earned their usual emission. Mining and network operation are separate duties in Qubic's architecture. Yeah, there you go. The network does not require active mining to function. Yes. So that's pretty interesting. But yeah, let's go back to this part right here, because I want to reference the Tesser AI article that I went through the other day. Here's one portion right here, part 5. So why 0? Why does that number end it? So check it out. Now it all connects. The global best score is the network's remaining error. Drive it to 0 and the network solves both the training set and the unseen validation set perfectly. And crucially, it does so while generalizing, green pulls yellow, while keeping the parameter dimensions constant. So in other words, they set like an energy parameter to where the solution can be like resolved, if that's my understanding of it. So it's able to do all this stuff within like the reasonable energy parameter. So it's like a bazillion times more energy efficient um in solving the problem, if that makes sense, I guess. In other words, 0 is simultaneous proof of all three things at once. It learned the task completely, right? It generalized to unseen data, didn't just memorize, and it did it within the energy efficient fixed dimension architecture. That is why CFB's answer to what happens when we get 0 is so short and heavy. Agarth will be deemed finished. And if you guys missed the last live stream, it doesn't mean we learn in this article that Agarth doesn't mean like AGI. Agarth is the paradigm. Qubic's it proves Qubic's approach to AI is the correct path. If that makes sense. So Agarth is the paradigm. Like it says in this article, it's the equivalent of the Manhattan Project versus what like an atom bomb actually is. You know what I mean? All right. I hope that made sense. Or if I'm off my rocker, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. There's outsourced computations. So outsourced computing is a third pillar of Qubic's infrastructure. Smart contracts handle the logic on chain. Oracle machines. That's what it was. Smart contracts. Smart contracts, Oracle machines, and now this one. Ha 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 ha. I knew it'd pop up. Oracle machines bring external data in. Outsourced computing lets the network send tasks to external processing power and return results on chain. Think of oracles as the eyes and ears. Outsourced computing is the hands. For the technical deep dive, see the Tech on Deck AMA recap. I did a live stream on one of those on that blog as well, so make sure you check that out if you can. But yeah, the outsourced computation is a pretty crazy addition. I think one of their utilities that they described, it was like, say like you renting bikes. Like the smart contract developer can like program like bike locks. Like say you walk up to a public bike, you can like pay Qubic to a certain like contract, and that contract unlocks the bike lock in the real world, automatically. So I thought that was a pretty cool use case, and I'm pretty sure there's a billion other use cases, but like to me that's the one that my simple mind gravitated to, because I mean that's the most practical one that I'd use it for. I'm not like a super techie guy. Um, TypeScript SDK. So this could go over a lot of people's heads, but this is pretty cool. So Qubic TypeScript SDK. The Qubic TypeScript SDK entered public beta. It gives JavaScript and TypeScript developers direct access to Qubic's core primitives. smart contracts, RPC endpoints, and wallet tooling with all cryptographic functions built in natively. No external dependencies, templates for wallets, and vault are included. So let me show you guys something. It sounds nice, right? But let me show you. Let me show you guys something real quick. Cause I had to look into it myself because I'm not super techie. I'm like, that sounds dope, but what does that actually mean though? uh, uh, all right, so check it out. Here's what it means. Why it's so useful. JavaScript, TypeScript is the largest developer developer pool on Earth. JavaScript, TypeScript is the largest developer pool on Earth. Way bigger than Go, Rust, or C++ communities. That's crazy as hell. The most L1 tooling targets first. Let me read that correct. Way bigger than Go, Rust, or C++ communities that most L1 tooling targets first. Damn. Damn. That's pretty crazy. Lowering the barrier to that pool is a real distribution play, not just PR. All right, and here's the practicality. All right, wallet vault templates. Native crypto functions matter because custom cryptographic implementations are where a huge share of blockchain hacks originate if devs aren't hand rolling key management. That's fewer foot guns in production dApps. Ooh, direct RPC and smart contract access from JavaScript means front end and full stack devs can build without a Go Rust intermediary layer, which shortens the loop from idea to shipped dApp. No external dependencies reduce supply chain attack surface, a real concern in NPM ecosystem, specifically given how routinely it gets hit with malicious package injections. And then Claude goes into some other stuff that I didn't ask it about, so we're gonna ignore it. All right, cool. So that's a pretty cool. That's a pretty short part, but or it could be easily overlooked. But yeah, it opens up the pool for devs pretty awesomely. Qubic incubation. There is some nice Voton bridge news. Let me zoom back in. I don't know why I zoomed out. My bad. I felt like it was just so in my face. I forget you're watching. All right, a work group was building a proposal to improve liquidity on the existing Voton bridge. That's the Ethereum bridge, if in case you guys don't know. Whoa, the approach targets 100 to 200K in total value locked. Ooh, split between two. It was split between stablecoins and Qubic. Wow, with a 6 to 12 month commit period. Whoa, shareholders and computers via the CCF would partner as shared liquidity managers. Whoa, yeah, that's pretty interesting. Huh. Yeah, I remember hearing that, but I didn't realize it was like that, like that. It didn't really sit. Like I remember hearing this, but it didn't really hit me like it did just now. But yeah, that's pretty significant. That's a six. They're trying to get six figures together for the ETH bridge. And there's a Solana bridge coming. The incubation board is consolidating resources around the existing Voton bridge before expanding to additional chains. The Solana bridge development is paused. Oops. While the current bridge establishes adoption. Okay. The development team, Avicine Studio, Tokonoya, was praised for strong delivery and community engagement throughout. A project entered the Qubic incubation program. Tick unlocked an analytics tool by David49 offering verified on-chain data, real-time wallet tracking, whale alerts, and custom dashboards. The tool is already built. Incubation is covering 4 months of product market validation. Huh. All right, so hey, you heard it here first, guys. The Solana bridge is paused while the current bridge establishes adoption. I guess that makes sense. You don't want to spread liquidity too thin. You want to, yeah, it makes sense. Because, yeah, one might get left in the dust and you want to, yeah. I guess it makes sense, right? What do you guys think in the comments? Let me know. You guys let me know. All right, business development pipeline. This is kind of like it's, for some people might be boring, but I think it's pretty cool. Shout out to Kim's. Kim's is I like when Kim's talks during the AMAs. The way he rolls his R's is legendary. The legendary roller. All right, pipeline and exchange outreach. The BD pipeline reached 85 leads, 61 from last month. Up and up and up. Number go up, up and up and up. Nice. If that number keeps going up, other numbers are gonna keep going up. That's only natural. Leads go up, marketing goes up, funding goes up, price goes up, watchers go up. All right. The warm category grew from 9 to 31 in 4 weeks. Damn. Damn. That's more than triple in a month. Driven by a new AI-powered outreach system feeding verified contacts into Pipedrive. Ooh la la. Ooh la. Ooh la la. MiCA compliance and EU markets. I know that's an important one. I don't want to read everything word for word. I have the link to this blog in the description, so you guys can check it out. I'm just going over the most interesting stuff. MiCA compliance and EU market access. A service provider is engaged to handle the MiCA white paper submission for EU compliance. Contract terms are negotiated, including favorable adjustments, pricing, and liability clauses. The remaining step is establishing a legal association to act as the signing entity, a process currently in progress. Huh. A legal association to act as a signing entity. Huh. Okay. I wonder how that's going to play out. So is there going to be like some sort of centralized board that represents Qubic in terms of Mika or something like that? Am I understanding that correctly? There's going to be some Is there going to be like some voted council or representative by the community to represent Qubic in the EU? I think that's the only way, right? I don't know. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just thinking out loud. The MICA white paper preparation runs in parallel so that submissions can happen as soon as the entity is in place. Okay, I think I'm understanding that correctly. I hope, maybe. All right, EU market access is targeted for Q4 2026. That's right around the corner, dude. It's already about to be Q3, man. Like I turned around and like it was my birthday already, and like the year 2026 is like more than halfway done already. Like I swear, January was yesterday, dude. Man, I know it's kind of cliche to when you like the older you get, the faster time goes, but like it's like exponential. Like when I was 30, I was like, man, time's flying. Now it's like time is like beyond flying. Time is like it's like just going, dude. Time is just like it's freaking going. God damn. Sorry, man. That was just I was having an existential crisis just now. All right, outsource computing code reaches mainnet within days. Bridge liquidity proposal. Blah, blah, blah. Pretty much synopsis. All right, cool. So that's about that for the AMA update. All right, we got through the meaty chunk of the Qubic update. That's pretty much it. And then there's more stuff. We'll get into Discord in a minute. They're now out on top of Anna, like uh now they're trying to grind down this Bitcoin price predictor. Then this is like, and then, oh, what? Apparently it's up to like 96% accurate. Watch, we'll re-up on those posts in a second. Like this, it's getting too crazy up in here, dude. Qubic is getting too nuts. That's why I'm like looking at these updates. I'm like, I'm ready to go live again. I'm recharged. I just needed some sleep, and to stop let my mind racing. All right, let's catch up with the comments real quick before we talk about or check on that the Discord stuff.